Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Joan Vassos justifies reason for no bed in fantasy suite. Although the Golden Bachelorette star, Joan Vassos, has made it clear she will have a very different fantasy suites experience, now she is defending her reasons. She discusses why she was adamant that there would be no bed in the fantasy suite during her season. Joan Vassos sets her standards high. Undoubtedly, the Golden Bachelorette is a breath of fresh air for many Bachelor Nation fans. But earlier in the season, fans heard that Joan Vassos was making a huge change to the fantasy suites. Without a doubt, Joan wants to be a good role model for her kids and everyone in her circle of influence. Undeniably, she lives by a strict moral code. Although she agreed to keep the special night in her journey, she was sure to do it her way. Joan Vassos justifies reason for no bed in fantasy suite. Would it even be a Bachelor Nation show without fantasy suites? In many ways, Joan Vassos shows her commitment to her values by removing the option of having sex. While Joan isn't anti-sex by any means, she is sending the message that one partner is plenty. She says, "I'm not a person who can have a physical relationship with more than one person." When she talks about her journey, she knows she wants to keep the fantasy suites in the show. However, she stipulated that it would be purely focused on relationship building. Furthermore, she adds, "I wanted it to be agreed that we would talk and have the conversations we need to have off camera." Admittedly, she didn't stay the night with the guys. She adds, "We didn't spend the night together." Instead, she made it clear up front that it was a boundary she was unwilling to cross. Correspondingly, she was adamant that there was no bed in the room. Instead, the evening was completely dedicated to emotionally being closer to one another. She was very thankful the men respected her wishes. Joan Vassos craves intimacy. Furthermore, Joan Vassos doesn't believe it is healthy for her to start any relationship with doubt. She says, "You gotta think. The person you're potentially ending up with probably does not want to think of you, last week, having slept with the guy he hangs out with." Then she cringes, "It's just weird." But the time on those dates is sacred to her. She knows that it gives her intimacy with the guys who may be her future partner. While it won't be the typical sexual tease, she is confident the time is a gift for them to ask and answer difficult questions in the privacy of a room with a sofa. Undoubtedly, she wants to ensure the heart is in the right place before she takes it to the next step. She reserves the right to choose. While Joan Vassos has made her stance that she has taken sex off the table, she doesn't expect that of other Bachelor Nation stars. She is thankful for the right to choose her values and cherish the physical act in her own time. However, she doesn't think others are wrong for their choices. She says, "Everybody needs to do it their way. I'm not judging," she adds. "The physical part is important at every age, but I think it's more important when people are younger. Each of us needs to engineer the journey so it works best for us." She knows her family is watching. Additionally, Joan Vassos confesses, "I don't love public displays of affection." Continuing, "That's great you're doing it, but no one really wants to see it. I was very conscious of that." Likewise, she knew that there would be passionate moments on the Golden Bachelorette and even forewarned her 4 kids she would be kissing a lot. However, in actuality, she has been reserved with her kisses. She has only selectively shared 5 or 6 since the show kicked off. Admittedly, she still believes it is important to have a few smooches, saying, "But you have to find out if there's a spark." Since she is about to go to Pascal, Chalk, Guy, and Jordan's hometowns, there may be some spark testing on the horizon. The air was thick with anticipation as the Golden Bachelorette Fantasy Suite episode loomed. Fans were eager to see how Joan Vassos, the poised and elegant leading lady of the season, would navigate this iconic rite of passage. But when the preview showed a glimpse of Joan's fantasy suite devoid of a bed, the internet erupted. Memes, speculations, and even conspiracy theories flooded social media. Joan, however, remained unbothered. In an exclusive interview after the episode aired, Joan addressed the decision, offering a heartfelt and unexpected perspective. The fantasy suite is about connection, not convention, she began, her soft-spoken yet commanding tone captivating. Removing the bed wasn't just a practical choice, it was symbolic. A bold reimagining. For decades, the fantasy suite has been synonymous with late-night whispers and unspoken implications. But Joan saw the stage as an opportunity to redefine what intimacy meant at her stage of life. At 63, I've learned that intimacy goes far beyond the physical, she explained. It's about vulnerability, trust, and shared values. A bed, for me, felt too presumptive. It places emphasis on one type of connection, and I wanted to explore others. Instead of the usual setup, Joan opted for a unique arrangement that surprised her final 3 suitors. The suite featured cozy armchairs by a crackling fireplace, an elegant dining table with a tasting menu curated from their favorite shared meals, and a pair of plush loungers on the balcony, perfect for stargazing. The suitors react. When Chalk Chapel, the charming entrepreneur from Colorado, entered the suite, he chuckled, clearly caught off guard. "Well, this is different," he said, his usual bravado softening into genuine curiosity. Joan gestured to the armchairs, inviting him to sit. They spent hours by the fire, talking about life, loss, and their dreams for the future. Chalk later admitted that he found the experience profoundly moving. "I came in expecting one thing, and Joan turned it on its head. It was refreshing, and it made me see her in an entirely new light." Vig answered. The affable former musician was next. Initially, he tried to mask his confusion with humor. "No bed. I guess I'll have to serenade you standing up." But as the evening unfolded, he admitted he appreciated the thoughtfulness behind the setup. Joan is someone who challenges the norm, and this suite was a perfect reflection of that. We spent hours on the balcony, and it felt like we were the only 2 people in the world. The final suitor, Pascal Adview, approached the suite with his trademark sophistication. The absence of a bed was telling, he later remarked. Joan is a woman of substance, and this was her way of ensuring our connection wasn't clouded by external expectations. Their evening was marked by laughter and deep conversation, proving that intimacy could thrive in unconventional settings. Joan's philosophy. Joan elaborated on her decision during the interview, drawing on her life experiences. As women, especially in midlife and beyond, we're often underestimated. People assume our desires and priorities revolve around tradition, but that's not true. I wanted to show that intimacy is a deeply personal journey, one that doesn't need to conform to societal expectations. She admitted that she faced resistance from producers when pitching her idea. They were worried it wouldn't translate well on screen, but I stood my ground. This wasn't about what looked good on TV, it was about authenticity. Her gamble paid off. The unconventional fantasy suite sparked a broader conversation about intimacy, agency, and the evolution of relationships as people age. Fan reactions. The audience's response was polarizing. Some praised Joan for her innovation and courage, applauding her for breaking the mold. Others questioned the practicality of her decision, arguing that the fantasy suite tradition was integral to the show's structure. One fan tweeted, "Joan Vassos just changed the game. Who needs a bed when you have starlight, a fireplace, and real conversation?" #golden Bachelorette. Another wrote, "Not sure how I feel about no bed in the fantasy suite. Isn't the point to explore all aspects of the relationship?" Still, Joan's elegance is unmatched. #Team Joan. Addressing the critics. Joan didn't shy away from the criticism. "I understand that not everyone will agree with my approach," she said. "But this journey was mine to navigate, and I needed to do it in a way that felt true to me." The absence of a bed wasn't about avoiding physicality. It was about creating a space where emotional and intellectual connections could flourish without distraction. She also emphasized that the decision wasn't a judgment on past contestants or their choices. Every Bachelorette has brought something unique to the fantasy suite, and I have the utmost respect for them. My choice was simply a reflection of who I am and what I value.